What was your favorite part of the conference or something that was the most meaningful?
Um, well, I think for me, psychedelic science is such a compilation of people. Like there were indigenous thought leaders and physicians and therapists and, some really big names in the field. And so just like the combination of all of the brilliance and wisdom was really, really exciting. And being able to sort of hop between different speakers and learn like about, one of the heads of the Shipibo people speaking about ayahuasca, and then being able to go see Bessel van der Kolk and Paul Stamets, and like sort of like the energy of the conference itself was just really was very enlivening. I just felt like there was so much opportunity to learn and to deepen and to grow. And also really what's really sweet about it is there's a lot of opportunity to really genuinely connect. And so the other thing outside of just being like enriched by a lot of great information for me was really seeing colleagues from, since I was a master's student up till today to, the person I used to babysit for. He's now in the field more in the corporate side. So just having
Yeah.
all of these like really interesting like interweaving of people from different parts of my life was very sweet to run into people in the halls and to be able to connect in those ways.
Yeah, that was so sweet meeting your old friend and just learning what he's doing. He's up in Oregon. Um, Shroom Cafe is their thing. If you're ever in Ashland, check it out. But
Yeah.
they're serving microdose, mostly microdose experiences for folks, but in the Oregon regulated model. So it's really
But
cool.
also like in the context of a
Yeah.
music venue. So it's just very different than what we're
Oh.
doing. What is the likelihood that
Yeah.
we started a Waldorf school together like, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And now, 20 years ago, I guess. Now he's in the same space. So that was just really sweet and
Wow.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also thought like the sort of after the DEA or the DEA denied MDMA assisted psychotherapy last year. Um, it was really beautiful to have the whole community, or at least many people. I know some people couldn't make it, but many people, so many come together, and it felt for me very inspiring and energizing that we are witnessing like the movement's not over, like this movement towards real healing in a new way, in an old way, but a new way for our society. Is still happening. It's still going to happen, but it's going to be like a long term, like a really lifelong and multiple lifelong sort of journey for all of us to keep working on this. And along with that, it was really cool to witness the MAPS organization, like changing of the guard there. Like Rick Doblin is no longer the executive director, and seeing like people in the younger generations
Mm.
stepping up and stepping into real, more leadership, and just give me a lot of confidence actually that this is not over. It's not even close to over. It's just like that was the end of an inning, and now we're still moving forward. And couple more highlights for me were just like the tea room at the conference. The conference is so amazing and so crazy. There's so much going on, but they had this like tea room, which was like a kind of a Burning Man vibe of like you just step in and you find a table and you're like immediately like meeting somebody random, but like has an amazing story to tell you, and having tea with them. And so that was really nice to be at a conference space like where you could be at a talk and then 5 minutes later you'd be in this place with amazing music and tea. And then the next room over was um like a music room where they had these mats you could lie on that had the music like they were basically speakers under your yoga mat.
Whoa.
So you like feel the music. So it's just like stuff like that at this conference just really sets it apart.
Mm.
And live painting and live music. And, like there's this guy outside rapping. He was called the fun guy, like
Oh yeah,
fun
he's
guy.
amazing.
He
So
was just
amazing.
like
Yeah.
free spoken word, poetry, rap, like
So good. Yeah.
amazing. So it's just like, fun and creative. And oh, and the outfits. I cannot tell you how good the outfits were. I know it seems so superficial, but
Oh, I bet.
not everyone, but there was some really standout
Yeah.
psychedelic outfits and some homemade costumery and just some, I mean, just the most wild, like full on mushroom hats. And then like, So much color. And so I think I was really inspired by the fashion actually at the
Mm,
event as
mm. I love that.
And just to echo what you said about the indigenous leaders who were there from different tribes, from different parts of the world, was super cool because it was just like I was able to go to a number of talks and events that where those folks were leading the discussion. And I think Maps did a much better job this time around of really centering those voices. And this is, probably largely due to the protests that happened at the closing ceremony in the 2023 conference, where they were a number of folks were saying Maps was not doing a good job. So I mean, it was cool to see they took the feedback and I think they really provided a lot of resources for folks to come in and just platform them and say, you're gonna if you want to come be here with us and teach us how you're doing it, we want to learn. So I think that was so beautiful and it was just really cool experience to be in presence of some of these folks and felt like there was a lot of wisdom coming from those tribal communities.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's such a full spectrum reflection.
Totally. Yeah.
Conference.
It's like the conference kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Conference meets festival.
Yeah.
Um, Eric, you kind of spoke to it a little bit earlier, but I'm wondering, what did it leave you excited about in terms of the future of psychedelic therapy and the field? And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just was excited to make new connections and reconnect to old friends and colleagues. Um, and just excited to continue to grow our little pocket of this work that we're holding space for here in Denver. We did have a little event here that was super fun and had some old friends and new friends join us. Um, and as we're getting growing our business, just excited um, to step into that. And yeah, and then made some connections also with folks who are literally like 2 blocks away or maybe 4 blocks away at Plant Magic Cafe. I just was excited to make build community with people who are doing amazing work in a different way, but amazing folks, and excited to keep growing our mycelial network. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would agree with everything you said. And um, I mean, just to circle back to something you said earlier about the progress of the medicine work and just like the research coming out. I think one thing about seeing Rick Doblin speak was the number of studies coming out. It was just like so many studies that are related to MDMA that are coming out from, so he did have this huge graph. It might be nice to post it here if I can get you a photo of it, Rosie. But yeah, it was just amazing. And then just to see that felt really inspiring. And then definitely inspiring on like a very local level too, in the way that you're saying it. It's like the macro and the micro. It's like the individual connections and the individual relationships. Learning about people that are just in very different spaces, like on the cultivation side, and people who are really moving in that direction, on the facilitation side, on the the licensed facility side, and just sort of seeing the many different ways that this work happens, and just being able to, again, yeah, be part of it. I don't think I ever thought in this lifetime I would be able to do this work. um I
Mm.
never, it's like so incredible. I was just thinking like it's like it just got dropped into therapist's lap. It's like, oh, I'm a therapist and like I can do this. And so
Mm.
there's something very inspiring about this work happening at this time in this way. um
Mm.
Yeah, and I feel more confident in my therapeutic practice too, and just seeing the benefit for people in a continued way, but also to be able to articulate the research and just have this like real backing of like this such like the indigenous wisdom, the scientific community, like the therapeutic community, some real thought
Mm.
leaders all coming together. It felt very reinvigorating and just, yeah, just exciting. Since that conference, I've heard so much on like NPR, CPR about psychedelics, like more and more. There already was that happening, but it just feels like it was just this real infusion, like Eric saying, of this mycelial network, and to kind of see the ripple effect everywhere, and to hear people just really embracing it when there's been, there can obviously be pushback and there's still people who have doubt, but seeing that kind of enthusiasm um and seeing the work kind of find its place here has been really, really exciting, really wonderful and humbling to be part of.
Mm, incredible. Sounds so powerful. And it also just with everybody kind of working it in their own way, but also being a part of the same journey with the laws and the regulations. Everybody's kind of in that shared experience, but tending all these little branches of their own. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's such a diverse community in terms of like all kinds of identity, but also like some people are really into working in regulated models, and others are really not into that. They're into working more in ceremonial settings, and
Yeah.
but that's the wonderful thing about the conference is it really does have, and I think it really does have room for all the different perspectives,
Yeah.
or at least most of them. Maybe there's probably some that don't feel invited, but yeah.
Is there anything that you learned that you're excited to put in practice or learn more about or
One
um
thing I learned was there's a study of researchers that are doing a study of um, basically of really casting a wide net and wanting to recruit therapists and patients or clients who are doing any sort of psychedelic assisted therapy. So I'm excited about that. I already signed up a client today actually for it, where she's gonna she had um, a journey a while back, and she's gonna post or not post. She's gonna fill out questionnaires once she signs up for the study, and kind of contribute to the field in that way, just talking about her experience and
Mm.
benefits of it, difficulties with it, and all that sort of thing.
Well,
So it's really cool. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Jenna?
I mean, I think one thing I get excited about I Paul Stamets is like funding his own research. So that's like really interesting. And he has this like theory um about the ways in which he started talking about music and the way that it has gone off like often goes with ceremonial spaces and like the hertz of certain drum beats and how that actually mimics the hertz of thunder, and that how psilocybin can hear thunder and like turn itself towards the rain in preparation to like receive nourishment from the sky. And it was like this great, it was like, I don't even, I think I might be botching it actually, the way I'm describing it. But it was something like, it was just like the ways in which these medicines are interconnected with the whole ecosystem. And like he's doing studies around the way in which this interconnection is happening. Um, so that was just like, I just felt like this sense of like universality. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how is this possible? And like, of course this is happening, but like, of course we don't think about it. And I felt really inspired by that. I also felt really inspired. He is doing a lot of like work looking at really ancient artwork and kind of in the pyramids and like all over in different temples and different churches and seeing kind of like really old art that really reflects the psilocybin and the way it was used by our culture, like as like a medicine that's just very, very old. Like learning like psilocybin has been on the planet for 65 million years, like things like that. Like, so just like kind of knowing the history and the way in which like these medicines are so inherent to our humanness and our humanity and how they also connect us to the whole, like just like the whole universe in a way. And it just felt really, I don't know, just like an interesting perspective
Mm,
of feeling kind of small amongst the bigness of things, but also just feeling like very close to this work and like the importance of the medicine and just the gratitude that it's here. And yeah, again, I just keep feeling grateful to be alive at this particular time of
mm,
the world to be able to do this work and see
mm.
people really change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I was really excited also I saw Paul Stamets speak twice, and I was glad I went to both because they were very different talks. And in one talk, he talked about his research into what's called the Stamets stack, which is psilocybin. It's like a microdosing protocol where you do psilocybin and niacin and lion's mane mushrooms all together. And he was showing data from that and then discussing the data, and it was just remarkable the effect that he saw, where he was basically demonstrating through a motor test where he had people do something like with their fingers, like how many times can you do that in a minute? Which just seems kind of weird, but it's a way to assess the way your brain and your neurons to your muscles are actually like wiring together. And he showed that for people who were doing the Stamets stack versus placebo, and then versus also just psilocybin without the Stamets stack, he showed the results for the Stamets stack are just like incredible. That like people were really just able to like get a lot higher number of like flicks, I guess, of their finger in a minute, which is again kind of weird, but it's a way to assess at a biological level like the effect of this. And so I got so excited that I now have coming in the mail like my kit to make little capsules of this of Stamen Stack, so lion's mane
Yeah.
and niacin. So I'm going to try it out. It just seems like why not? Like this is
Yeah.
here, it's available. Maybe this can really help all of us.
I'm
Yeah,
excited to hear
yeah.
your notes.
Also, I'm wishing I remember the name of the indigenous leader in the opening plenary. He's like, every decision that I make thinking forward 7 generations of how
Mm,
I act this world, 7 generations of the future. And
But he also said in in his community, at least, and maybe a lot of indigenous communities, they don't think of a generation like we do in the U.S. Mainstream society.
yeah.
It's not like there's the boomers and then whatever Gen X. One generation is like 80 years.
Yeah.
So that's a lot
That's a
longer.
lot. A
That's a lot of years.
lot more
yeah,
to
but I
consider.
just feel like it just is like, what if that's how we considered things?
Yeah.
Like, what if that was the intention we were putting into? And it's kind of changed my relationship with a lot, that consideration or that mentality of like, what am I doing and why? And like, what are my intentions and how? Right. Like, and
Mm,
wouldn't that be nice if that was the consideration of our political system?
yeah.
And like, what wouldn't that be for all of us? Wouldn't that be a different world? So yeah, so that felt really, really inspiring to me as a piece of learning. You
Awesome.
know,
Yeah.
that was a major one. Also, Dick Schwartz, the founder of IFS. I feel like I've told this story so many times.
Internal family systems.
Internal family
Yeah.
systems. He was there. I had to wait for 45 minutes to get into his talk. I was a half hour late. I finally got in, and he talked about how our partners torment us. He says tor hyphenate mentor, and that they mentor us towards like the unresolved or unhealed parts of ourselves, and that it's their task to mirror that in us, but not to heal it, and that it's our task, and the medicine can really help with this too, right? Like to show us the places that need to be healed and help us do the healing on those places that get like activated. So I mean, really, I know we're all over the board here of like our learnings and our exciting pieces, but I just feel like it's
Well,
such
it's
a
yeah.
tapestry of things. And
It's an evocation of the conference, which is very much
Yeah.
a
so
lot.
yeah, a lot
Yeah.
is happening there.
Yeah. But
I
it's quite,
feel my energy like rising and just excited and inspired and yeah, it's working.
yeah. Yeah.
I have to say this. I also saw this amazing film called Wild Magic, which it was just so cool where the filmmakers basically took acid. They said this because they were there. They showed the film and then they were talking about the process after. They like took acid and then went out and the film wasn't about psychedelics. It was about finding the magic in like everyday people in America. And it was just so beautiful, like who they found. They found these like weirdos that were like up to some crazy stuff. And it's a very beautiful film. If you
Mm,
ever get a chance to see Wild Magic, I highly recommend it.
love it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for sharing, guys. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Rosie.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
that was good.